So I know this isn't exactly a hot take, but Kyle Pitts is awesome. I mean, he's really good. I've been watching the tape of him, and listen, you guys know I'm not gonna just hop on a bandwagon just because everyone else is. I've said my concerns about some really high prospects. My opinion on this kind of thing is that the draft tends to be a crapshoot where most people get it wrong. So why would I follow what most people say? I'm gonna just give my opinions, and sometimes I'm gonna get it wrong too. But you know what? That's part of the fun of this. But it's really hard to have a different opinion than Kyle Pitts. I'm sure there's some people out there that do, but just watching his tape, it's incredible. And in fact, I think I'm just going to start off with his blocking because there's been this weird thing where people say, "Oh, he can't block. He's just basically a glorified wide receiver." That's wrong. He can block. He just can't. Watch. We'll start off with this one. So right here, you're going to see that Pitts is currently lined up to the quarterback's left. He will be blocking the edge right there. Also, the trivia question is just what they put on the screen. In case you were wondering if I all of a sudden got sponsored by Aflac and I was putting trivia questions on there, that is unfortunately not the case. But, Aflac, hey, if you want a sponsorship, hit me up. But anyways, watch him just completely set the edge right here. This is a great block. That's really well done. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a blocking expert. I'm sure HookCam could give you a better really analysis of it. But just watching the tape, he can block. I'm not saying you're going to draft him to block, but let's just be honest. You're not going to draft any wide receiver to block in the top 5. Like, that's just not what you do. You don't spend a top 10 pick on a blocking tight end. You spend it on one who can receive. And I just wanted to bring that up because he absolutely can block. He's capable of it. He's not a glorified wide receiver. But also, by the way, he's incredibly good at going up and making a grab. So we'll start off with this one. This is going to show off his speed a little bit. So it's a bit of a confusing concept that the defense is running right here, where it's basically going to be no safeties deep. The safety who is showing as though he's going to be deep is actually going to cover a wide receiver. Then the defensive back who is supposed to cover that wide receiver ends up covering Pitts, while you also have a linebacker in the middle of the field who's kind of also covering Pitts. This is essentially a double team. You also could have a switch here where if Pitts runs over the middle, then the linebacker, he's going to cover Pitts, and then you have the defensive back. He covers the middle of the field, so several things that could happen. But for Pitts, he's just running a deep route. Very simple. And watch, right when this play starts, you notice that, so there's 2 players that could potentially be covering Pitts, and it looks like they're very wary of potentially him running over the middle or really cutting at any point. Pitts is not going to do that. He is going to run deep. And I thought he did a good job of, if you notice in that beginning portion, of not sprinting to start off the route. So he's kind of just, going a little bit slower than he typically would, which can kind of sell as though he could be doing something else. And again, no safety deep. So if he can get past these guys, he could be in good shape. And watch how he does that. I mean, he just blows by both of them. There might have been a miscommunication there too, which is partially why I'm not totally sure how much I should give him credit for, but you can just tell that game speed is it's there. He apparently ran like a 4.46, which at his size is just stupidly fast. I mean, at 6'6", running a 4.46, that seems crazy to me. I don't understand how that's possible. And now I want to talk about this one because this is something you can absolutely see being a factor in the NFL. What's going to happen is that Pitts is currently on the side right there, all the way to the left. It's man coverage. So the player I've circled, that's the man coverage. Pitts is running a deeper route, going to the end zone, trying to get a touchdown on this one. And there's also safety help over the top. So that's just everything you need to know about this play. So Pitts gets a pretty clean release. He's really good at that first step because what do? I mean, he has great footwork, but it's not like you can try to use your size to overpower him. You're not going to overpower Kyle Pitts, so you're kind of screwed in that first step area. But, the defensive back, he can't really react to the ball now. He has to turn his back and try and run deep. So a throw really over the top of the defensive back is probably what you would want to do. But Kyle Trask, this honestly isn't the best throw. It's going to be a little bit far behind, and it's also going to be off to the side. He wants to get a back shoulder throw, it looks like, but it's just not really far enough to do that. You'd like to get it a little bit faster and a little bit higher up. But watch Pitts still react, and he's able to find a way to make that grab. That's just a great read. So he's someone who he's great at just making catches, which that's a key factor when it comes to the game of football. If you're a tight end, just being able to make a grab. And now we got to talk about something like this. It's his footwork. It's not just speed. It's not just his ability to make contested catches. He has incredible footwork as well. It's going to be man coverage. You see the player who he's going up against, and watch how he's going to run this route. So Trask takes the snap, and you see how Pitts basically just runs straight into him, and Pitts isn't going to try anything too fancy. He's just going to cut to the inside. But what I want you to see is how well he's going to do this. Because again, For a 6'6" tight end who's, not even in the NFL yet, sometimes these cuts can be a little bit slow, but not with Pitts. Watch this footwork to get to the inside and get wide open. So, yes, he has power, but he can beat you with speed and he can beat you with his footwork as well, which is why he's going to go so high in this draft. This one's another good example of it's going to be a one-on-one matchup with a defensive back, right there. He's just running quick slant routes, so this isn't anything too difficult. And honestly, this is something that should help Pitts. Like, I expect Pitts to win this matchup. You expect if you have a good player in this situation to win, but watch how he's able to win. He fakes going to his right and then gets to the inside, gets wide open. And that's what I love. I've always said this. I'm sure if you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you hear me say it all the time. Help yourself out. Make things easier for yourself. Use route running to allow you to get more open. And that's exactly what he did right there. The reality is a lot of people are going to debate back and forth. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Is he going to, best tight end ever? That's a little bit ridiculous, quite frankly. He hasn't played a snap in the NFL, and I do feel a little bad that just the expectations on him it's just unfair, because how can you expect someone to be a Hall of Famer who hasn't played a snap yet? I mean, that's just, you just can't expect that. I get that he's one of the best prospects we've seen in quite some time, but there's a difference between a great prospect and a Hall of Fame player. I mean, more often than not, the guys we think are going to be superstars end up being either okay or just, fine, sometimes bad. I mean, we thought Clowney was going to be like the best player ever. That didn't work out. He's fine, but he's not like a superstar. And also, it should be mentioned that tight ends historically struggle their first year. They do. Tight end, that's just a thing that happens with tight ends. TJ Hawkinson, who was it was crazy that he had that one big game, his first game, and we were all going wild. He had like 140 yards, and we're like, how did he do this as a rookie? And then he definitely didn't get much more done that season, but then had a really good second year. That tends to be how it works. It takes a minute to develop, and I think it is really going to happen with Pitts, because you see Pitts use his size on a lot of these plays to get more open. He definitely uses physicality. That's probably the only critique I have of his game, is he sometimes relies on physicality a bit too much, and he won't be able to do that in the NFL. He'll have to adjust. But I mean, if you want to draft a tight end, like, there's no box he doesn't check off. He's absolutely a physical freak, and I wouldn't hate it at all spending a top 5 pick on him. I think he's that good. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Pitts? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.